guys, welcome back to A Little Less Lisa. If you're new here, my name is Lisa and this channel is all about my health, wellness, fitness, and weight loss maintenance journey. So if that sounds like content that you are interested in, click the subscribe button and the notification bell below. That way you know every time I upload a video. This video is my weekly check-in. So I have been doing these essentially on a weekly basis for the last, I don't know, almost a year, actually. I guess technically I didn't start until week 5, but you know what I mean. So we are going to talk about week 50, which, like I said, is just crazy that we are almost to 1 year. So let's talk about how week 50 went. So if you are new to my channel, I will do a very quick recap of who I am, where I started, you know, how I got here, all those kind of things. As I said, my name is Lisa and I am a 57-year-old postmenopausal female. I started my journey back on March 28th of 2024 and I started at 183.8 pounds. For those of you who care, I am about 5 foot 6 feet tall, so that did put me right on the edge of overweight and obese. Technically, I actually was a little bit heavier when I first filled out my paperwork, which definitely put me into the obese category, but I lost a few pounds by the time my medication got here. But I consider my starting weight the day I took my first shot because I think that's what's important. So I originally set my goal at 150 pounds, sort of thinking I'm postmenopausal now. I don't know how low I'll be able to go. I had lost a significant amount of weight about 18 years ago or so, and maintained that weight for about 12, 13 years. And that weight was around the 143 pound range. But I didn't know, being postmenopausal now, whether or not that was a realistic goal that I would be able to maintain. And I didn't know how this medication would work, if it would help me at all. Well, spoiler alert, it helped tremendously, and I responded very well to the medication and I lost very, very quickly. So quickly, unfortunately, that I have suffered from massive hair loss, which is definitely the downside, but I did lose very, very well. So once I got to 150 pounds, which was my initial goal, I decided, okay, this is obviously working for me, so let's get down to where I was accustomed to and lived, 10, 12, 13 years of my life maintaining. So then I decided, okay, let's go for 143.8 because that would be an even 40 pounds. I got down to that weight, I think around week 20 something. I don't have all of my notes in front of me. I'll certainly go over that in my 1 year recap. But I got to 143.8 and I went into maintenance, did a few weeks, and I realized that I didn't necessarily love what I saw in the mirror yet because weight shifted, right? It had kind of redistributed itself and I probably had more muscle mass at that time, when I first was at that weight, probably, in the 5, 6, 7 year range, whatever it was. But my point is, being premenopausal or not in the menopause sort of range at all, my body looked different at that weight than it did now at 57 years old, being postmenopausal. And my whole thing, in addition to trying to treat my metabolic disorder, was to also like what I looked in the mirror, okay? Maybe people will think that's vain. I think most of us want to like what we see in the mirror, and that was important to me. So even though I got down to that weight where I was very comfortable in the past, I didn't necessarily love the way that particular weight looked on my body now. So I decided to go back into the weight loss phase. So I went back up to 5 milligrams and continued to lose for another few weeks after that. I think I don't remember how many weeks it took me to basically lose another 10 pounds. So I got to the 50 pound mark And that's basically where I have been maintaining. The way I do my check-in videos, again, if you are new, is I don't tell you whether I'm up 0.6 from 50-ish pounds. I don't tell you whether I'm down 1.3 pounds, whatever. I have set a maintenance range of essentially 5 pounds, kind of straddling that 100 and whatever, 100 and no, what number is that? 130, whatever, 133-ish pounds. I kind of set a 5 pound window on either side. And so I report to you each week because I essentially only weigh myself now once a week. When I was in my weight loss phase, I did weigh myself every day because the fluctuations on the scale didn't bother me. And frankly, I liked to see that because our bodies all fluctuate. And in maintenance, they absolutely fluctuate, right? You don't get to a maintenance weight and stay that exact maintenance weight every single day. Sometimes you're up a pound, sometimes you're down 1.5 pounds, sometimes you're up 3 pounds, just depending on what you eat, if it's your time in the month, whatever. There are lots of things that affect your weight. And so for me to tell you that I'm, like I said, up 1.5 pounds or down 0.5 pound, it makes no difference because it doesn't make any difference to me. As long as I'm in my range, that's all I really care about. So that's what when I report each week, I will tell you whether I'm under my maintenance range, I'm within my maintenance range, or whether I'm over my maintenance range. So let's get into where I am today. So I am still underneath my maintenance range. Again, if you are new, I lost and went into under my maintenance range when I came back from my trip from Asia. And then I had surgery. So I had a brachioplasty, which is removing the excess skin and, whatever fat is there from your arm. And then I had it when my incision goes down the side of my body. And then I had a breast lift as well as having my breast implants removed. Now, I think that we have figured out that my breast implants together weighed about 2 pounds. So obviously, already being underneath my maintenance range, and then you take off another 2 pounds, clearly I am still under, I'm going to be under my maintenance range for a bit, right? Until my body really recovers from this. And I'm going to talk about my measurements here, which I thought were very interesting, so that it's kind of an odd time for me, I guess is my point. So while I am still underneath my maintenance range, and obviously, I don't know, I might need to think about what my maintenance range now is, given the fact that I just had 2 pounds taken off of my body that really had nothing to do with my body, you know what I mean? So I might have to sort of shift what my kind of goal weight is. So, if let's say it was 133.8 because that's 50 pounds, maybe my sort of target maintenance goal or maintenance number needs to be 131.8. Let me know if this logic makes sense to you. And then set my range, that 5 pound range, kind of on either side of that, because the 2 pounds that were taken off of me, it's not like I lost 2 pounds of fat or, whatever. It was just inanimate objects that were taken off my body. So anyway, I'll have to give that some thought. This week was essentially the same. I'm still snacking. I'm definitely trying to be more cognizant of it, and I'm making some notes so that when I meet with my therapist, I can talk about, maybe what was triggering me, etc. The other thing I am doing differently starting this week, and this was based on one of your recommendations, was I'm going to split my dose this week. So instead of taking 5 milligrams all at once, so I actually took my injection today, I only took 2.5. And then, 3-4 days from now, I will take, probably 4 days from now, I will take another 2.5 and see if that helps at all. I will be very curious. So I will be interested to report back to you next check-in to see if that made any difference. I'll be interested to see, I just cut my dose in half. So am I going to start really hearing food noise again too, and feeling a lot more hunger, although I've never really felt a ton of hunger, so I don't know that that will really be an issue. It will be more whether I am truly, like, food is coming into my thoughts more. So anyway, more on that to come, but under my maintenance range still, and took half of my dose. So we will see how that all plays out next week when I check in. Water has been, again, not as good as I want it to be, and that is going to be something that I am going to be doing in this 30-day challenge that I'm giving myself. I am going to address that in that challenge, not only in the amount of water that I'm drinking, which generally I don't have an issue with that. I really have always been able to, except for recently, been able to, get in like 96 ounces of water. But I'm going to put something else into place that I think will help that tremendously. I am really, really missing my workouts. I am going to try to work out. So my 6-week mark will be this coming Wednesday, which will be the 19th of March. So I do plan on going into the gym on Wednesday and, seeing what I can do. I still have limited range of motion. So, yes, I can put my arms above my head, but it really is really tight in through here. It's not necessarily that it's not that I feel it on my incision. It's more just like the skin around. I don't know. It's weird, but anyway. But I would really like to get back into the gym. So hopefully that will go well. I am also going to be doing a what I eat in a day. I've had a lot of you request that video from me lately, so I will definitely get one of those out. I also ordered Factor. So if you're not familiar with Factor, it is freshly made, shipped to you. It's never been frozen, so it's very fresh food, and I chose a plan that was focused more on protein, and I really want to use those for lunches. Dinners I don't necessarily have an issue with, but I struggle with lunch, certainly right now. I don't see anything that I really want to eat, or so then I just don't eat, or I don't see anything that I want to eat, so maybe I grab some crackers or something, nothing that really helps me at all. So I'm hoping that having those Factor meals will help that. Now those won't come, I'm not getting those this week. So basically week 51, those are going to start in week 52. So I might wait to film that what I eat in a day when I have those, and we can kind of see what those are like together. Hopefully I will like them. I got an order, I just got it for myself, and I got basically 6 meals. So I'll have one for every day of like the work week, and then I'll have an extra one to, I don't know, throw in somewhere. But I'm excited to try them. It's kind of an interesting concept. This is not sponsored, by the way. I don't have any discount code. Actually, I think I can have a discount code. I think anybody that signs up for Factor, you can get a code to give to other people. But my point is I'm not sponsored, and I don't even know what my code is. I'll figure out what my code is, I guess, when I do that video, and I can share it at that time. But I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not an affiliate of them or whatever. I'm just trying it because I want to try it and see how it is, and hoping that it will help in going forward and really trying to help me get my protein in. So let's quickly go over my measurements. So the last time I took my measurements was on the 18th of January. And from the sort of the previous time, I essentially lost like 5.5-ish inches. So I ended up losing just literally slightly over 4 inches, but shock of all shock. Essentially, that came from my chest. So I lost essentially 3.5 inches in my bust, in my chest, because they took out 2 500cc breast implants. Also, interestingly, my left arm is bigger than my previous measurement. So despite, which tells me obviously, as is my right arm, actually, now that I'm looking at it. So that tells me that both of my arms are still swollen because he took off excess skin and things. So physically, they should not be bigger, is my point. So that tells me that I do still have quite a bit of swelling. Other than that, pretty much everything kind of stayed the same, minor, like hundredths or maybe a tenth of an inch difference in various places. But the majority of that 4 inches came out of my chest. So not shocking. But at least I know where I am now, and I'll be curious to see kind of where my arms go to. I mean, I really like the way they look right now, especially my right arm. I mean, I can definitely tell that I still have quite a bit of swelling in my left arm, especially like on the underside here. It's also very tender still there. So I think there's quite a bit of swelling. Scars are doing well. I do need to do kind of a surgery update and scar update so I can let you know how that is going. But yeah, I am looking forward to starting this challenge. My plan is to start it April 1st. And I know that we talk about in the past about, starting a diet on Monday, and you always start on a Monday, or January 1st, right? Starting those New Year's resolutions. And while yes, maybe I'm sort of playing into that by waiting until April 1st to start, I just think, April's 30 days, so it makes it easy to just say, okay, I'm going to do it for the month of April, as opposed to saying, okay, I'm going to start on March 22nd and then having to count 30 days. I don't know. Not to mention also, I have some things in the house that food-wise, that I really would like to be gone by the time I start this challenge, because those particular things are creating a challenge for me. So I would like those to be gone. But yeah, I'm excited to share that. So watch out. That will probably be my video for this coming week. And I think that's about it. Let me know in the comments how your journey is going. I always love to hear from you and see how you're doing. Are you having great success? Are you, maybe struggling a little bit? I am happy to try to help in any way I can. Obviously, I should have said this before, I am not a doctor. I am not a medical provider. I am not giving medical advice of any kind. I am just a random person on the internet who has been on this weight loss journey and now in maintenance, and I'm sharing my experience with you here on YouTube. So, the only thing I can give you is experiences that I have had, but I am happy to, if you're having an issue and it's something that I can relate to, or I can tell you what I've experienced and that might help you in some way, I am happy to share that with you. So leave your comments below, hit the thumbs up button to like this video, and click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and the notification bell. That way you'll know every time I upload a video. If you want to keep on watching my videos, there'll be another one in the corner here for you to watch. And remember, kindness and hate spread the same. The choice is yours. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.